So I got a funny story for you. Basically, I wrote the White House, and I went to somebody, I'm not going to mention any names, and she just laughed at me. They said, they're never going to get that. They'll get it if they get a bomb threat or something like that. And I said, you know what? That's a good idea. So me put myself on the line because I have the balls to do it. I said, dear Mr. President, you're going to get shot if you don't read this, just to get it picked up by the Patriot Act, just so the president could read it so it could get to the White House. This was my letter to the president. Dear Mr. President, the fix. First of all, cut off all the pork. You don't know what it is, give me the list and I'll show you. Second of all, no $400 haircuts, toilet seats, whatever, you get my drift. Okay, so you want to fix for the economy? Let's remember the American pride. Make everything here again. Seatbelts, starters, alternators, clothes, shoes, whatever you remember when we were glad to say it was made in the USA. All that outsourcing will bring that shit back. And if they don't want to tax them. What it will cost minimum wage to pay someone over here for each employee. None of this 2 cents a day shit, greedy bastards. If they don't like it, screw them. Now, let me explain something about pork. Let me tell you how clever these politicians are. You can have a big New York skyscraper building, and there can be an office. And as long as it has a phone line to prove that it is documented that it is there, you can bill it, and someone can collect the rent for it. But when you actually go in the office, all you see is a box and a phone. So they're smart, so they creep money in certain ways. So you have to think outside the box like they do. Okay, so next. This is a big one. This is a real big one. Prescriptions. Take the cost of electricity, cost to pay scientists to figure out how to make the medication, and add 10% profit and cost of making it. None of this shit, $900 a month for meds bullshit. Put a cap on it. Even when it costs like 2 cents to make a pill, they're making like $80 a pill on it. Next, go to Wall Street. Investigate the cookbooks and fix them. Make sure they're not ripping off online investors. Make sure they're not ripping off online investors, how they've been. Schools. No bully law, no exceptions. If you want to bully, they can go home. Song Jeremy Spoken by Pearl Jam. Listen to it. And you wonder why kids go Columbine. Shaking my head. No bully law. You know what? If they find out their kid's been sent home from school, they have to not go to work and they have to go home. Maybe the parents will put it on their butt one good time and they won't do it no more. And then they'll straighten up. No racism law. No exception. If they want to hate, let them do it at home. And if they don't like it, let their asses be homeschooled. Or, let the parents come home from work and say, man, you're home from school again? Put it on their butt and say, hey, don't do it. Just straighten up. So they can go back to work and don't have to deal with it. Next, Congress. Do they really need that much money? No houses in the Hamptons for you. Get rid of lobbying. Also, guns. 2 words. Psych test. No selling on the streets or gun shows for the matter of paperwork for each gun, including psych test, people. Who wants to give a psycho a loaded handgun? Next, prison. If you're putting them to death, give them the last meal back. Don't ask me why I feel this way. Also, lower the Medicare allowable rate. Really, companies don't need all that money. They're giving away meters. Oh, this company has a diabetic testing supply meter for $100 because it's the company's meter, but really costs $10, and they make $90 off of it. The Medicare allowable rate allows them to get away with that. So, that would save money there. No chip, no Vera chip. If so, I say fuck you. I'll take care of that later. Next, Mexicans. They were here first, just saying. Electronic medical records. Well, how many doctors does it take to actually get a proper diagnosis for real? We don't have doctors like House. Sounds like a big smorgasbord of shit hair. I'm laying here dying on a hospital bed, but the records say that I have a urinary infection, bladder problems, and you give me a pill for that and it kills me. Not accurate, plus the people underneath the doctor's not mature enough to handle it. HIPAA, folks. Shut your mouths. TSI, 2 words, psych test. Remember the x-ray machines and the guy was on the news that they both worked for TSI and the guy beat up the other guy because he was making fun of him? Grow up. If you want to govern people, you need to govern your government. Have a nice day. HIPAA, their ass is there. If a problem, shut your mouth. If you think it's funny, then you're fired. You know, if you want to be immature about it. You know, if you want to be immature about, oh, we're going to do the x-rays at the airport, you want to be immature about that, you can't be professional, then go home, do something else. Homeless, a system where if they're traveling, they can show up to certain destinations and get a list of where food for them is being served, a time and a day, also where they can get shelter. Gasoline, more public transportation. If gas gets too expensive, ride a bus. Abortion, pro-life. If you want to kill them, give them a system where they can put her up for adoption. Who knows, you might become the next Albert Einstein, Michael Jordan. You get the drift. Foster homes and elderly homes. Mandated system where they are treated properly and not neglected, abused, even if it means to put a cop in each one. A cop for the people with a non-retaliation law against the people who are abused that have a complaint. Jobs in each city, computer classes. Yes, taxpayer, I said computer classes for everyone to learn computers. Maybe even have Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Next, foreign affairs. As far as war, not my department, but for places like Haiti, Africa, and others, send bulldozers over there. Give them running water, schools, and hospitals, and help them develop the nations and let them pay us back in barter with what they can produce. Resources. Hemp makes paper, clothes, and all that good stuff. Hemp was actually made as the sales to get over here to America. It makes everything. Medical marijuana. Next order of operations. I am Christian too. I know Christians don't believe in fornication, but hear me out. 3 out of every 5 people who are sexually active will have HPV by the time they're 25. Mandatory when a girl is 16 to older to get a vaccination. Students should be taught basic military stuff in high school, just in case someone tries to infiltrate our country. They will know map reading and other things by the time they get older in order to help each other. Don't know, maybe ROTC for every student. Summer book reading for students. Little volunteer work so they know how to get a job out of school. Make trades in high school. AC repair, car repair, pool repair, electrician. You get a drift. Some kind of shop in high school. Turn the Job Corps into schools too, so they can put half in books and half in you turning wrenches and learning how they can become an entrepreneur when they get out of school. Some people are hands-on learners and some are book learners. Testing which one and let them go in that direction. A cap for dangerous medications. Roxycontin or however you want to spell it. Come on, do you really need $275 a month? Grandfather those who already have it. It is a problem. Instead of trying to have talks with things, treat gangs the same way. Have them put down the weapons and shake hands. Might need those guys someday. Programs for them for a better life. To have life, you have the Taliban and other talks. Why not in our own homeland talk to the Bloods and the Crips? Maybe educate them, show them the clip. I can't find it. Where the original starter of the gang wishes he never done it and never started it and wish he took it back. Just saying. The leader of the Blood wishes he never started the gang at all. Now, if he could have his wish and take that back, and if he could actually take in prisons and sit a Blood and a Crip and a Folk Nation and sit them all down in one chain and chain them together, sit next to each other, and have them watch a movie American History X or something like that, so that they can learn that they can get along in some way like that. Well, that's all I got today. Kenneth Delevante III. I'm just saying, that's my letter to the president. And remember, I know there's those offices out there that have a phone line, and as long as there's a phone bill, you're feeding that pork. You're like, I'm collecting the rent, it's for the U.S. Department of this, and then you walk into that office, and you know what it is? It's just a phone on a box, and they are scamming you people. Let's get with it. For the people, by the people, for the people, by the people. That's all I gotta say.